So the calling of the disciples teaches us a lot about really discipleship in general. This passage, Matthew 4:18 through 22, the line of "Come, follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men." It's one that often gets repeated within Christianity and everything, but I think we sometimes kind of forget kind of what is going on here. So in the Jewish, to kind of give like a little bit of background, within Judaism at that time, you were educated in Scripture, but there's a certain point where if you didn't kind of meet the cut, you went off for whatever reason and started doing your, started actually like working your family's profession. So generally this would be, early teens. Back then, they kind of adulthood was reached at an earlier age. So these individuals who Jesus is reaching out to, Peter, James, John, the rest of them, they're all already kind of established in their fields, but they are still very young. So a rabbi coming and saying to them, drop what you're doing and follow me, is actually seen as like a very honorable thing, because they would have known the chance to learn under a rabbi in that society was considered very, very, very important. So it kind of gives a little bit of the background for them to go and follow Jesus. But as we kind of see from the rest of the Gospels and the rest of the story, all the way up into really Acts, they aren't finished products when Jesus calls them. And this is, I think, something that when we kind of talk about calling people to follow Jesus, that we tend to miss. We tend to separate, the fancy word for, reaching out to bring in people to the faith, or evangelism, and the actual building up of people in the faith, discipleship, as two kind of separate things, when in reality they're connected. When Jesus called his disciples, he wasn't calling them as finished products. He was calling them because he saw potential in them, and he knew he was going to have to work to get them to that point. And so, with this, we kind of see with the way that Jesus sort of approaches discipleship and evangelism is, the calling doesn't stop with him calling you. It's an ongoing process, and it's an ongoing sort of shaping sort of process. So for us, what that really means is, within our own lives, as individuals who have been called and who have hopefully answered the call of Jesus, we need to be in a process of consistent growth and consistently learning in his words to get closer and closer and closer, because like the disciples, we're not finished products either. And if we do that, then eventually, and even along the road, we'll really be able to grasp and master that idea of being able to, be fishermen of men. So that is what I have for you this week. I hope that you found it insightful. We're going to go into our last song for this week. I will be there with you in worship, but I will see you next week, and I hope that you all stay safe out there.